Hello, happy Christmas everyone. We wanted to bring you something a little bit different over Christmas, and I wanted to give you the chance to meet the team. We talk about Natasha Makes team, don't we, quite a lot?
Yes.
And obviously this is a face that you know. There will be other faces that maybe you don't know, but you just know the names. And I hate that when you have a conversation with someone and they kind of assume you know who people are.
Yes.
And so
difficult, isn't it?
It is. So just in case you're new to Natasha Makes, or you just hear that name and think, well, who are they? What do they do? That's what these little chats are going to be about. Rather than trying to sell you stuff while you're eating your turkey, what we'd really like to do is just say hi, have a bit of your company, and hopefully a little bit of a giggle and just a bit of background, really. A getting to know you type situation. So obviously I'm Natasha of Natasha Makes, and our very first show was on the 10th of January last year. And I was incredibly lucky because this amazing lady here said that she would join me for my very first show. We had no idea if anyone watched, would we, Jane?
No, we were just sort of putting it out there and seeing if it would go.
So this is Jane Alcock, for those of you that don't know.
Okay.
And Jane and I met at our last place of work.
Yeah.
And when that closed down, you were mid-block of the month.
Yes, that's right. I'd started doing what I felt was a beginner's sample quilt to help people who had never done patchwork before start from the beginning. So we were 3-4 months down the line, weren't we? And it stopped. And I was like, but they'll be halfway through learning and they'll have half a quilt and they won't know what to do with it. And I was thinking about starting off on my own.
I giggle because I've tried Facebook Lives
Yeah.
without my cameras, and well, those of you that saw know I was rubbish. Was it a similar experience for you?
It was. I bought a tripod. I've got a friend who does Facebook Lives all the time, and I thought, how difficult can it be? And then I bought a tripod, and I couldn't get my phone to flip round. So I could talk to my camera like you do to your phone. And then I tried to flip it round, and all I got was a picture of the ceiling.
Not always.
Which doesn't help when you're trying to
helpful.
demonstrate patchwork blocks. So I was like, this isn't going to work. I don't have the technical know-how to make this work.
In the
And
meantime,
then Natasha got in touch with me, and I was like, oh, thank you.
it was a sneaky conversation in the kitchen, wasn't it, at
Yeah.
work, of like, what are you going to do next? Because everybody was wondering what everybody was going to do next.
Yeah.
And some people were really open about what they were going to do. Some people didn't know what they were going to do. Other people were like, oh, don't know, made redundant, Christmas, hooray.
Mm.
So it was a weird time, but we had a conversation in the kitchen. I was like, I'm thinking of setting up on my own. Got cameras, got the space, da-da-da. And so that was kind of how it happened. And so, yeah, our very, very first show. And then from there, we did finish that quilt.
Yes.
And then started a new one, which is the Sea Storm Quilt, which is stunning.
It's come really good. It just all came together. It was like the perfect storm, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
It just,
Maybe that's what we should have called it.
yeah, the perfect storm. Yeah, instead of sea storm. Yeah, I've just got a new title now.
AKA.
Yes, better known as, yeah. Yes. I think when everything came to a close with Sewing Quarter, I had a bit of a confidence knock,
Oh, we all did.
and I wasn't really sure what I was doing and whether I was doing the right thing. But I did know that I wanted to carry on the block of the month because I felt it was important,
Yeah.
because there were people that were halfway through a project, if you like.
And it had
was-
invested. That was the
Yeah.
other thing, is that if somebody's taken the time to invest time, effort, money, energy, all of those things, it felt only fair that they finished that off.
Yeah.
And that was my stance on it, and I was really pleased when you went, oh yeah, okay. So then we had to, and I remember, I mean, goodness me, talk about teamwork. Alistair from House of Alistair, because we didn't have a trade account anywhere,
No.
bought us the fabric
Yes.
and cut it, because we didn't, like,
Well, there was only you and
you,
Siraj and Neil,
me,
and
Josh and
and
SJ, that was it. And they were busy doing all the technical malarkey.
yeah.
So that was, no, just didn't know. And when I look back on that, because the thought of buying those bolts of fabric,
Yeah, because we
was
didn't
terrifying.
really know how many people would want to carry it on,
No.
did we?
if anyone would watch.
Yeah. And so it was a big leap of faith to start with, but we did it, and it's
And you came along with us, so that was the biggest thing, wasn't it? Is thank you for your loyalty, thank you for believing in us, because my goodness, we've grown. And in growing, what I was able to do was to badger Jane every month and say, when are you going to join us, Jane? When are you going to join us? What's it going to take for you to join us? In that voice, half the time.
Yeah, no. You were so lovely, and as I said, I had a bit of a confidence bashing, and I was just, I don't know whether I can do it, and if you want me here every month, I've got to come up with a new project, and it was okay because the block of the month was all organised already, and I knew what I was doing with that. And I just sort of, and gradually Natasha sort of coaxed me and said, well, have a look at this, see what you think, and you could do this, and you could, and I was like, yeah, and I liked the idea, and I talked to Josh, and he was like, you like it, it's really good, and I was like, I know.
Teasing you all the way.
Yeah.
From my point of view, I just had a situation where you were here cutting some fabric for the block of the month, and I had to go and do something with the horses. I don't know if it was hay or some fencing or something,
right. Yeah,
some emergency
happened.
something.
Yeah.
And I just happened to leave Jane in a room full of fabric.
Yeah, I think you just had a delivery, hadn't you?
Yeah.
And you said, there's this fabric's come, and I'm not really sure what we could do with this, and I'm not sure about this one either. And I was just like, I think I might be able to do something with it. And I'd got my sketchbook with me because I'd got the figures for what fabrics we needed. And while she was out, I just went and had a look at this fabric, and I was thinking, all right, we could do this with that, and that one would work with that pattern. And I came back and I said, I've got these ideas, what do you think? And she was like, oh, that's amazing.
So
yes,
there
come
was
and do
Jane saying to me, but I just don't know if I'd have enough ideas. Well, you've got 2 months worth there, ready to go. And at that point, I think, for me, that was a turning point. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a light bulb moment. And talking to Josh as well, and he sort of fired me up again. He gave me sort of inspiration to believe in myself again. I think, I'd really sort of lost, as I say, a bit of a confidence bashing. So yeah, and it's lovely, and I think that's what it's like working here. It's a collaboration, is that the right word?
Absolutely.
Collaboration.
Yeah.
And everybody sparks off each other,
Which is
how brilliant, because we're all very different, really.
Yeah.
But we're all there for each other.
Yeah.
It's a very, very much a cooperative type of situation work-wise, and I love it.
It's funny actually, and you'll realise this when you meet everybody. You couldn't meet more different people in life experiences, what people bring to the table, but it works, and I'm very conscious of nurturing that, because that is so special, and I've never worked anywhere where it's just felt so right with everyone.
Yeah, we do. We work well at what we do, but we're also there to help with other things if needs be, and I think that produces a good work environment, because you're constantly feeling enthusiastic and supported. So when you're having a day, because we all have days where we're a little bit and it doesn't quite work and nothing seems to go together right, and you're like, I don't think this is going to, and then somebody will come in and go, well, why not try it that way? And suddenly you're like, oh, of course, why not?
I've had that. I've had mornings where I've tried to put a show together, and I think 4 or 5 failed attempts, and I've just gone, okay, I just need to wait for Jane. Jane will see it. You'll see it, because it didn't matter what I did, I just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And you walked in and straight away went, this, and that. That's it. Got myself in a bit of a twit.
I think sometimes you can get so immersed in what you're doing, you can't, like they say, you can't see the wood for the trees,
No,
can
absolutely.
you? And having a fresh set of eyes and somebody with a bit of knowledge of what you're trying to do as well can say, well, let's just try that and see if that bit works.
Because that's the other nice
a lovely way of working.
thing, we'd work together, so I think we already knew how each other worked.
Yeah.
And then you'd done the block of the month each month. And for all of us, I think what we enjoyed was watching you get your confidence back, month on month and month on
Yeah,
month, and
it
just
definitely,
going,
yeah.
this is really nice.
And I
It
think
was watching a
having-
flower blossom. It was just
Yeah,
beautiful.
and also we've had lovely feedback, haven't we, from
Yeah.
our customers and things. And it, again, it doesn't fit. You don't feel the pressure of as before. It's more like a family situation, really. Everybody just you feel supported.
Yeah.
You feel supported and encouraged to do what you do. You know, it's
There's-
a nice feeling.
Everybody here is better than I am at what they need to be better at me at. You know,
Yes.
my dad always taught me that. He's like, there's no point in employing people that either are the same as you or not as good as you at stuff. You know, you have to surround yourself with inspirational people who are fantastic at what they do, because then they only feel great at what they do, because in my eyes they are.
Yes.
And that's, you know, I can't do the things that you do. I can't put quilts together the way that you do. I don't even want to know what Josh does because it involves computers. He's
He's just a magician, really. It's just it's
And
magical.
I don't, and it would be a mess if I did it. So I am so lucky.
And the other thing, it would take you twice as long, because you'd have to learn how to do it first and then do it.
I put it off.
Just,
You-
yeah.
you haven't-
And
you
because you
haven't
can't
put in
do
the
something, you do it's like,
procrastination.
I'll do that tomorrow. That'll be fine. Yeah.
So no.
Yeah.
it
Having the
all-
right people to do the right job makes a big difference. And again, supportive people. You know, we can go to Josh, can't we? And we say, we want to do this, and will this work? And he'll be like, yeah, we can do that, but you might have to do that.
Yeah.
And there's never a, no, you can't do that.
It's-
Never has been.
The mantra I think we all have is solutions, not problems.
Yeah.
And we try and, I mean, you know, gosh, we started a brand new company, and of course stuff's gone wrong. Yeah.
But that's how you grow, isn't it? You
and
learn
and everybody
develop.
at home has been, in the main, incredibly supportive and generous in their support, and that's been phenomenal as well. So I really wanted to thank you for that as well, because there have been times where you know, entire sacks of post went missing twice, entire sacks. And you'll notice now that we don't put our logo on the returns label. Hasn't happened since.
No, it's funny.
So, you know, coincidence, who knows? But it's those little things, and that as a small company losing an entire sack when it first happened and we were only like a couple of months old. Oh my goodness. So we've had to learn. We've learnt so much, but you've been patient. Everybody's been supportive, and that's
yeah, and that's the feeling
the joy
we
of
get
it.
here. It's a homely, almost a family really, and we do support each other. We do. It's lovely. It really is a nice place to work.
Oh, I'm so glad you feel that, because I love having you here, and it's
Yeah.
lovely, and the kids love having people here as well, because that's the other thing. They would normally have seen my grandparents, their grandparents, my parents, and so I was very concerned with lockdown that Emily, as a 1-year-old, wouldn't see people and would be nervous of people. But every day, oh hello, goes my phone. Reminds me to take the dog to the vet. But every day before she goes off to school, she'll come in and she'll say hello to you and to Inga. She gets very upset if Inga's not in the warehouse where she expects her to be. Inga in warehouse. Yes.
It's lovely to see them as well, and we're watching them grow and develop as well, and it's nice to be part of their lives, and they're enthusiastic about things as well. And I mean, Emily, bless her, she loves her colours, doesn't she? And she wields those bolts of fabrics around like
she's a tiny
as big as
Trojan.
her.
Yeah, I know. But do you remember when we had that cave delivery and she shifted 60 bolts by herself?
Yes, she did.
Freddie lifted 2 and she shouted at him.
Yeah, she did. She didn't want him to help her.
Put them
Mine,
in the wrong
Freddie.
place.
Yeah.
Mine. But she does. She picks out colours that none of us do. And we're like, oh.
Yes.
Yeah. So watch out for Emily's Choice, because we normally label it as Emily's Choice, or we'll let you know she's got a cracking eye.
Yeah, she has. Yeah, she does. She loves her colours, and it's lovely to see. Yeah.
It was Inga that was here the day that we were cutting the red velvet. I think it was the red velvet. It might have been the blue, but Emily smoothed it out. It's on the floor so we could cut it because it was really wide. It was before we had all the big cutting tables. she smoothed it out and proceeded to take her shoes off and dance
I
on
bet
the
it
velvet.
felt wonderful.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
sell it. But not that bit.
No.
We danced on. But she just this
Joy of
this
it.
joy of feeling something fabulous between her toes and the colour of it and everything else, and she just danced, and
Yeah.
it was really
Lovely
beautiful to
see.
watch.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. So I feel very lucky that they can grow up surrounded by colour, surrounded by inspirational people, surrounded by talent, surrounded by creativity, because I feel that's really important.
Yeah, and I think they're both of them are seeing you grow as a person, developing your business. That's a good role model for them as well, to see that you can achieve anything if you put your mind to it and really want to do something.
Yeah.
And that's
Freddie
a
often
wonderful
helps
lesson.
me, helps me with things, and we did a little try and teach them through what they see me doing.
Yes.
And a little while ago we put a little something in a day's worth of post, just a little something from us to whoever had ordered that day. Didn't say anything, just popped it in there. And Freddie's like, well, why are we doing this? Because he helped me bag everything up. And I said, because when you do something nice, it breeds something nice. It has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
You
Makes
know,
people happy.
and it's, you've done something that will make someone smile, and then they will have a nice day, and they will do other things, and then those people will smile, and so it goes. And he's like, oh right, okay. So just from packing a few threads
Yeah.
and unpickers, and he's like, oh yeah, no, he got it.
Yeah.
He got it. It's
Yeah.
nice. It's
He's
nice.
he's a clever boy anyway. He's going to go
He's
far,
a
that man.
smart cookie.
He is.
Yeah, with a smile and manners, he'll go far.
Yeah.
Bless him. But I'm just so glad that you could join us, and thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure, and I love it, and I'm really glad that you feel that you wanted me to be here, because
From day one.
I've
from day
enjoyed
one.
being here, and I'm looking forward to more.
What is next year then for you? What
We're
going
going to finish the block of the month, because we're halfway through the Sea Storm one, or the Perfect Storm as it's now called.
Yeah. Sorry, Josh, you've got to change all of that.
We've
Oh, look so pleased.
got an idea to do another one on a similar style, again, that will take us to the end of the year.
Yep.
And then the year after, I've got another idea for something that will take us completely through the year. So you've got to keep me for another 2 years.
So
At
excited
least.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that the idea that you've got for next year
Yeah,
is just phenomenal.
yeah.
Just brilliant.
Thank you.
And in between, lots of different size
Yes.
quilts.
We'll carry on. We'll do basic quilts and more experienced quilts and different techniques, and we'll just keep developing and growing, and the gorgeous fabric will keep coming, and we'll keep being inspired. I think that's how we
know.
work, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, it's exciting.
It's exciting for the new year.
Thank you, Jane.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful 2021.
Yes, and you.
It's going to be a good one.
Here's to it. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Part 2, I guess, of our Meet the Makes team. Those that make it happen. Honestly, make it happen. You will have heard me make reference to Gemma Thomas, handmade by me PT, otherwise known. This is Gemma. So when Emma left us, you said quite correctly, there were some big old shoes to fill.
For sure.
And your tiny feet seem to have expanded to epic proportions. Gemma is
We're
super
trying.
organised, which
We're
I need in
trying.
my life.
A
So
work
welcome,
wife.
this is Gemma, everybody. Hooray!
Hello.
I am trying to convince you to actually come on and demo some
Yeah.
stuff.
So you've been trying to get me this side of the camera for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I've said no repeatedly.
Yep.
And then you rolled out that old, Gemma, it's Christmas. Think of the viewers.
Yeah, I probably said
Right,
that.
okay, yeah. So and everyone else is doing it, so then I couldn't get out
Yeah.
of it. And yeah, here I am. So.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Emma had to self-isolate or something.
No.
That's how she got out of it.
Proper terrible excuse.
No, but
So
it worked.
transparent.
So it's fair to say we've known each other,
quite a long
A
time.
year or
20 odd. Getting on for 25. We were 3, clearly.
clearly, and
Or perhaps
child
not.
brides as well,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
you know is useful.
I know, it gets bad when the children get to an age where they can date you, not date you, but age you.
Yeah.
When you've
Yeah.
got one that's 5'6" and nearly 16 and another one that's 17, you think, oh no.
Yeah.
I can't try now to try
No.
and pass myself off. You see, you're all right. Your smalls are small.
They are small,
Mm.
although growing by the moment.
Yes.
What I realised when I was chatting to Jane a few moments ago is how lucky I am in the people that I have surrounded myself with and their skill sets. What would you say, Gemma, was your best skill set?
That is a terrible question to ask me because I'm one of the most self-deprecating
I
people
know, that's why I asked
on the
it,
team.
because
And that's where you've come in, really. I've always loved crafting. Since I was tiny, I've been into cross-stitch and all sorts of things, and I just love creative pursuits, really. We met at grammar school. We were there, Stratford-upon-Avon Grammar School for Girls, weren't we? I was
Yeah.
there for 7 years. You did
I just
a
let
couple.
them
You
down.
just did the sixth form. I had to do the long haul. And when I was in the first part of the school, I had to do home economics. And my home economics teacher made no bones about the fact that I was utterly hopeless at every possible aspect of home economics, to which I now, laugh in her face.
Of.
Because I absolutely love it. I love cooking, I love sewing, I can knit, all sorts of things, but it's a creative outlet for me.
Yeah.
I actually founded the Women's Institute in Stratford, the WI Light. I was on the founding committee and I was the one that had to go to Warwickshire Federation to do this whole, I'm here as our representative, so I've got my little clipboard. Yeah.
Oh, they
I was
gave you
there
a
with my little
clipboard?
clipboard. Well, no, I took one. Yeah.
Oh, there was no
Took
stopping
my
you.
clipboard and I thought I'm going to be proper professional because I was 20 odd and they're all,
Yeah.
are much more established WI members and a lot more aware of the protocols. And trust me, there are some serious protocols. And I sat in this meeting and who should be one of the senior people on that WI committee but my HE teacher from Shottery. Yeah.
No!
So I tried everything to sort of put across ideas and be as professional as possible. And she shot me down with, well, home economics were never your strong set, were they, Gemma?
She didn't.
Yeah. In front of everyone.
No.
Everyone. Yes, I know. So,
No.
yeah. So if I
How
lack
rude.
confidence in
blaming
putting
her.
myself forward as someone who is, capable of crafting and stuff. I mean, clearly this was her error. She didn't see an opportunity there to, nurture someone who enjoyed crafts. But I absolutely love it.
Do you know, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think I'd have taken a creative route from a really young age, but she knocked the stuffing out of me. If she's watching, then I really feel bad. She's going to be sat at home perhaps with her
Well, maybe
mulled
she should feel
wine
bad.
and, well, maybe, but, in
Whereas I did
fairness,
physics.
that set you in really good stead, didn't it?
Josh, did you not know that?
Really, really good stead. Look at his face, he looks so
I'm not
confused.
surprised though, you've done like fencing.
I did,
Oh,
yeah.
trained for the
I
Olympics,
did
yeah.
art, English and theatre studies. And then I think my dad had a throwaway line about a bit, like bimbo, being a bimbo.
Nice.
And I was like, right, I'm going to show you
Yeah.
then. Changed to maths, physics and biology. And yeah, Mr. Bedford, our
I
physics
loved
teacher,
him.
hated me.
I loved it. He hated everyone.
I know, he was,
except
he
me.
Was, well, yeah, at
No,
least he
there was
was
a reason. He was
consistent with that.
lovely.
But he used to sit me in front of, I used to get sent to do my work in a different room, which was basically just in front of the radioactive cupboard,
Yeah.
which I think might explain quite a lot. I don't think you'd be allowed to do it now.
No,
Send
there's a
someone
lot of things they wouldn't be allowed to do
to
now.
the radioactive cupboard, but that was
Yeah.
where I was sent for every physics lesson.
He was harsh though.
He was.
I'm going to say God rest him because I think,
Oh.
yeah, well, he was about 500 years old when we were at school, and let's be honest, that's 20 plus years ago.
Was.
If I've just killed him off, I do this all the time. We kill famous people off all the time.
Do you?
That's mostly what we use Wikipedia for, if I'm honest.
what, finding out
Checking if people are dead or not, because we think that my husband's the worst. Dead him.
Blame him.
I'm like, no, he's not. Yep, dead him. And we Google, and sure enough, nope,
Wow.
74 and living in wherever. Can you not do that, guy? He's like, oh, or he'll tell me someone's alive. I'm like, don't be ridiculous. Googled the other day, one person, he was adamant, he'd have bet our house on it was alive, would have been 112.
Amazing.
I know, so
Good
he's
job
not,
not a betting man.
I know, he's really, really bad at it.
So you have a wonderful family. You do have a wonderful
yeah, I
family,
do.
and your mum is also a crafter.
She is. Ed's.
Hello, Eds.
Yes.
And so I think it's in your bones.
Ed's is my bestest best friend. I call her Ed's because I've spent the last 17 years working in my little salon, and my mum got to sort of mid to late 40s, and I said, come on now, you don't need to be working in an office anymore. Let's retrain you as a nail tech. And she trained as a nail tech, worked with me for a little while, and I said, I can't in the salon be going, Mum, like it just can't be done. So it was Ed's this, Ed's that, Ed's the other. So if I refer to her as Ed's, it's not a disrespectful thing,
She's
it's a we worked together thing.
My kids call my dad Barry.
There you go, Sue.
You know,
It's
it's
fair enough.
Grandma and Barry.
But he is Barry, you know.
He is
he's just,
Barry,
and that
he
suits
is.
him.
But my
But,
mum was very upset because she's like, well, what if people think that he's, you know, not
Well, this is the
properly
thing.
related?
Yeah.
I'm like, they only need to see him with the
Mhm.
kids for 2 seconds.
Agreed.
And they know.
But I think
They know.
it's quite, I mean, my husband worked with his parents, and so he calls them Jen and Roger, and, you know, it's quite common, I think. But yeah, Ed's, bless her, she and I have the same health challenges, shall we say. We've got fibromyalgia and osteoarthritis and a
All
myriad
sorts of
of
fun things.
other things, yeah. And crafting for us is a way for us to feel productive when we can't move very much. And I think
don't
that's
think you're
so
alone.
valuable.
And I think that a lot of people at home will absolutely understand that. And that was kind of how it came about, you working here, because I've been saying to you for ages, I don't think that breathing in the chemicals from the nail
No.
stuff is good for you.
Yeah.
I don't think breathing in people's nails is good for you when you've got bad lungs. So, and then obviously this year happened, and
Yeah.
that was it, business shut.
Yeah. And I
Um,
received that shielding letter. So, you know, I was closed for longer than most because
Yeah.
I was told to shield the first time round. Second time round, they were a little bit gentler with me and said, no, you can go and do various things, but you need to be careful what you're doing. But I would have gone mad sat doing nothing at home. So I had an amazing cross stitch I've been working on for like 5 years. I just can't, you know, when you just don't, it's the
Cross-stitch is
UFO.
great value for money,
Oh, I
because
know.
you can just keep
Lasts forever.
coming back to those things for years.
It was in the UFO pile, and I did that, but you were brilliant insofar as going, right, I need samples making and I need you to write patterns. And I was like, this is not what I do. And you went, this is not what you've done before. So you just kept dropping stuff at my door and then running back towards the car and going, make me something fabulous, I'll pick it up tomorrow. And I was like, oh, and then you'd go. And I was like,
No, we were there tomorrow because we had to leave it in
Yeah.
the garage for it to
Yes, it's true,
decontaminate
yeah, you
for
did.
24
This is-
hours.
You did. Well,
Before
the first couple of times it was
Yeah.
that, and then it was, oh heck, perhaps COVID can live on the fabric. I mean, honestly, the things we've had to consider this year is crazy.
Oh, we just didn't know, did we?
No, and then sort of beginning of August, I went back into the salon and trying to work with all the PPE on, wearing a mask.
fun.
I can manage. A mask and a visor together. For some reason, my breathing goes to pot. So trying to do that every day, was going to kill me off. So I
the
loved that, but
In the meantime, you had brought us things like the Stowaway Bag.
Yeah.
From one of Emily's choices. We were discussing earlier, Emily's choices, and that was the last thing that she chose out of one of my suppliers' warehouses, because she came in a papoose
Yeah.
round the warehouse just before lockdown started, and she was adamant. It was the mermaid fabric, the Michael Miller
Yeah.
mermaid fabric. Do you remember it?
beautiful. Yeah.
And she was adamant she was having it,
yeah.
and then she wanted the gold spot to go with
Yeah.
it. Emily's choice, sold
Yeah.
out straight away. But you made the lovely Stowaway Bag,
Yeah.
and the story behind that was
Yeah, so I've got it here actually, haven't we?
we've got a version of it.
Put it up. Yeah, it's not the
Which is,
original one, but it's one we've made in beautiful capes.
Which is
The
gonna be
Stowaway
Freddie's swimming
bag
bag.
is fundamentally a lined drawstring bag, big lined drawstring bag. You've got lots of room in there, and it can be made well from our half metre heavens, really, can't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely.
Just need a little bit extra for the key big pocket on the front. And the reason I did the big pocket on the front is when my Meg, she'll be mortified at this, she's nearly 16, but when she was little, if we tried to put her cuddly toys in a bag, and there were certain ones that she wanted to take out with her, if we tried to put them in a bag, we had to try and fashion the head out of the top, but then secure it tight enough that we weren't going to lose the toy.
because you can't
because
lose the toy.
They can't breathe.
No.
So, and the fact they can't breathe is really, really important. So, nice, deep, big pocket here. And I thought actually that's a really useful pocket anyway for your water bottle
ballet
or
shoes, water bottles,
football boots, whatever you could do, a
wet
plasticky
swimming
lining.
costumes, anything. If you odor-coat a bit, it's one of those go-tos. And depending on what fabric you do it in, I mean that's one of the Cafe ones.
Yeah.
And it'll be Freddie's swim bag when he goes
Yeah.
back to swimming. It's just so versatile. I did one out of Tim Holtz, changed the complete feel of it. Felt really grown up.
Yeah.
Right, they're not having this. That
Well,
one's
quite.
mine. And you also bought us on the floor.
It's down there, it's fallen. The infinity
infinity
scarf.
scarf out
Yeah.
of Fat Quarters. And
Yeah.
this was because you'd been going on at me that this was a lovely make.
Yeah.
And then Brandon came to
Yeah.
the studio and said, what you need, what the Italians are doing,
Yeah.
is these,
Yeah,
is
infinity
snoods,
scarves. Yeah.
or infinity scarves, whatever you want to call them. And so you did that ready for
Yeah.
when he came.
Yeah.
So gradually,
For you to ring me and say, so Kath and Brandon would like an infinity scarf. I mean, how can you say no?
you didn't.
I didn't say no.
I
No,
knew
of course
there was
I didn't.
No way, no way. So I feel I've been slightly sneaky
Yeah.
with good cause.
You know, but there's been times as well where, I mean, with the little bottle holder as well, you said to me,
Completely
I've
forgot
got
about
to
that.
design a bottle holder, because it was on the list of things to do and you were
Yeah.
so busy. And I
Yeah.
went, what, something like this? And I FaceTimed my mum.
Eds,
Look.
good old Eds,
Yeah.
again.
I made my mum one. It suspends, you can hold the bottle upside down, you can attach it to your handbag, and you were like, that's exactly what I want. So
Yeah.
again, we were able to bring that. And
Not that you would demo it. But
no, not that I would demo it. I
thing.
told you, never, ever, ever will you get me this side of the camera.
And yet.
So yeah.
See, lots of firsts. It's great.
Yeah.
We have come to an understanding about stories from our past.
Yeah. And I think it's
I
a
think
really
it's safest.
strong understanding on the basis that probably have equivalent amount of damage that can be done
Yeah.
both ways.
Yeah.
I think
I
this
think
is a
that's
safe
healthy.
pact.
Yeah.
I think if there were a gin and tonic involved, that would probably go out the window.
Possibly.
There's
Is that why you keep suggesting once we're out of lockdown, a social?
Oh, I just think, you know,
Josh is giggling in the corner
well,
again.
you know, I think Josh is well up for a social. I think
This has sort of been safe
it would
because
be amazing.
although Emma's known me for 20 odd years, she hasn't regularly been here because she's lived in
Yeah.
Switzerland and then down south. So I've been quite safe.
Oh, you've got stories to tell on me though as well. I mean, you seriously have. And I cannot believe the story I told you the other day, which we will totally not tell now. I can't believe you've never heard that one in very small paraphrase form.
I can't
I
believe
had
you
a
sent
small
me photographic evidence.
Well, it's, yeah, that's the thing. You can only properly tell this story with photographic evidence. I might have had a small wardrobe malfunction at Ascot, which was an appropriate thing because I might have put the... Can we say I put the ass in Ascot that
I think
day?
you just did.
I think I just
Yeah.
did. So, but yeah, there's
But great underwear. So
amazing
Ooh,
underwear.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Unfortunately, one of the hottest days of the year because if I'd have been wearing the big bodycon Bridget Jones style jobbies, then
It wouldn't
that
have
would have
looked
just
as great.
you wouldn't have been able to see
No.
that there'd have been a hole in my dress.
The
That
nice
was,
thing is,
enormous.
I don't have to tell your story.
and that I hadn't noticed
You're
for
just
40
saying
minutes.
yourself.
Well, no, because I know actually, if I sit here long enough, it will come out, won't it? So damage limitation. Yep,
You're like your arse, Gemma,
yeah.
in that dress.
For 40 minutes of
Yeah.
walking around,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Beautiful.
and then yeah,
Things like that happen to you.
all the time, all the
when-
time. I am the
yeah.
pantomime horse.
It's fine.
It doesn't
It's
matter what
fine. Which
happens.
end?
Well, exactly. Well, that day, quite clearly, the rear end. Oh, gosh. But it is always me. When these sorts of things happen, I should have written a book,
There's
I
still
feel.
time. There's still
And,
time. Well,
um,
when you're not doing my filing.
And you and
stuff.
I have some amazing calamity moments. Of course, Inga now calling us Patsy and Eddie. That's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like to think it's because you're really tall and I'm really little, but I suspect it goes further than that. But
Potentially. Potentially.
we love Inga.
Yeah. She also calls you Little Gem.
Mm-hmm. Precious little gems.
Precious little gems.
My
She
precious
does.
little gems.
Which, coming from a geologist as
Yeah.
she is, this is what I mean. Everybody's got
Really diverse backgrounds.
Yeah.
Really diverse backgrounds.
Yeah.
You know, I was in a bank, working as a manager in a bank to start with, and then went down the beauty route, and then became an educator for an international company in beauty. So, I mean, that fits more with this than the banking. So, mind you, I'm doing paperworky stuff for you now. So I've drawn from both, really, haven't I? But
I don't think any experience is ever wasted.
it's always valid, isn't it?
You know, we were saying the other day, Oscar Wilde says, be the verb,
Yes.
not the noun.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use that a lot. Get used to him, that's going to be the case.
So
and it
true,
is,
though.
it is true. And certainly, I think, not to get philosophical or anything, but I do feel the universe puts us where we need to be,
For sure.
and gives you the people that you need when you need them.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly now is your time with us. We need you, and we're very grateful to
And
have you.
You know, absolutely, to have you around this year, and like I say, to give me a kick in a different direction, it's been amazing. You know, I thrive normally off travelling around the country and teaching beauty to different people and being creative. My job is to either sit and do beauty treatments for people, predominantly nails, which is a really creative outlet, and to teach people that. And yeah, let's not talk about your nails. I keep gifting you little things
It's a
here
small
and
bone
there,
of
and you know,
contention.
oh, I know. These things work better when you use them regularly.
I
I
do
find.
use them. You go out there and
But,
muck out goodness knows
oh,
how
I
many
know.
horses and walk goodness knows how many dogs.
Yeah, not with these.
Exactly. You
Not with
see my
these.
point, and tell and show me your beautiful nails. Then we'll have a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did try.
Okay.
I did try.
You're just a whirlwind, though, so there's never time to get these things done. You're always
Pinned
doing
down long enough.
800 things all the time. So yeah,
But we have similar weird sleep patterns, which
yeah,
really
terrible,
helps
terrible.
sort stuff
I
out.
think I had about an hour and a half last night in total.
I mean, that's great. You look amazing.
And we
on it.
email each other at stupid o'clock and then reply and go, she's awake as well. we're both going to look 82 in 5 years' time.
Luckily, you have a background in beauty.
Yes.
I will be relying
All the
heavily on that
products,
at
yes.
some point.
All the skincare in the world.
Just need the time to use
Oh.
it. So, what can we expect from you next year?
I'm going
Our
to sit
precious
diligently
little gems.
at my desk and file all your paperwork and tell you what to do so that you behave yourself. That's what I'm going to do. Now wait for it.
Realistically, what's going to happen?
And oh, Tash. And you want me to come on here and do a bit of demoing, don't you?
Be nice.
I mean,
you know.
I have got a background in it, but it's in the beauty side more so. I'm used to teaching classes. I'm used to doing demonstrations at trade shows under camera. All these things you like to remind me of. Therefore, it's not that different. But we'll see. We'll see.
I think you just talked yourself into that, if I'm honest.
I think I'm being frequently reminded, and therefore it's starting to imprint in my head. So I think I'm going to get away with it. And knowing you as I do, and how, should we say tenacious to be polite, how tenacious you can be, I don't think I have the ability to resist you on a long-term basis.
Resistance is
Futile, yeah, against the force.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Who was it the other day? Adele was saying on Facebook, we were talking about gladiators. She said that the bolster cushion looked like,
Pugil
ready?
stick. Yeah, and that's when I said, people saying, oh, what would your gladiator name be? Force, obviously.
I was like, the wobbly one.
No, force. It would be force. No hesitation in my mind. I was there. That would be her name, Force.
Amazing.
But you've always been the same. I remember coming down to Cornwall to visit you when you were pregnant with Freddie. Yeah, all right, you may laugh and put your head in your hands. And we drove up your extremely ridiculous... Like, we basically drove across fields, didn't we? And past some wild cows and horses and
down
Lord knows
a mile
what.
of unmade track, over 2 cattle grids to a ford to get to
And you
us.
have to wait for the animals to move, because if you don't, then they'd destroy your car. But we and there was some really funny noises on the underside of my husband's Mondeo. And
he was quite upset about that.
I'm glad he doesn't have that car anymore, but, it didn't fare too well visiting you down there. But we came up this track, and in the distance, I saw this insane person with this huge industrial-sized strimmer. And I went, is that Tash? And my mum in the back went, no, she's heavily pregnant. I went, this makes no difference, that's Tash. And guys go, no, it can't be. Look at that person go. That's some big, powerful man, that is. No. Get closer, there you are.
Very pregnant, wielding a strimmer.
Yeah.
Had I just given up work at that point? I think I might have done.
I don't know, but you were really crazy. You were, other women nest and start baking and putting things in the freezer and cleaning and all that sort of thing. You were out like
I went to work on it,
destroying
yeah.
the land and doing stuff like.
I mean, that sounds a bit harsh.
No, but yeah.
Yeah, I went to work on a natural horsemanship yard when I found out I was pregnant, because my mum said that I had a crazy Arab. She's like, if you have to have a C-section, I have to look after that horse. She terrifies me. I'm not going near her. So I was like, right, it's fine. I'll just sort it out. She was crazy. So I went to learn on this yard, and they took me on as an apprentice. They made me sign something to say that I took full responsibility for myself. And I stayed there. I stayed there
Josh, can
until
you
I
add
was...
this to the list of ridiculous careers that she's had over the years? Just,
you know,
put it down with the everything else.
And they're some of the best instructors in the country, the highest ranking Pirelli instructors in the country. I was so lucky to work with them, until one day I realised my time was up working for them, when they all went out on a hack, and David made saddles. He made beautiful Western saddles, and there was one left on a tree. So I was like, that looks really comfy, and so I climbed in it. It's meant to be sweeping the yard. I climbed in it and got stuck because they had the pommel on the front.
Oh my word.
Because it'd just been resting over the tree where they left the saddles once they came off the horses. Of course, it wasn't strapped to anything. And I was wedged.
No.
I couldn't get out. I had to sit in that
And I say
saddle.
I'm the pantomime horse in this relationship. Like, come on, which end are you in this circumstance?
Right slap bang in the middle, stuck.
Oh my
Because I couldn't.
gosh.
It was the whole thing was gonna crash to the side if I tried to come out sideways, but I couldn't lean forward to swing my leg because I was wedged with this. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many years we know each other. These stories come out. The Ascot story. We could just
So
do
at
this
that
forever.
point, I realised that it was time to not be riding horses.
Probably time.
Which meant I had more time at home to strim.
To strim. But it's not just little strimmy. I mean, this thing was huge.
Yeah, we had 9 acres.
Yeah, well.
It needed doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we digress.
We digress a lot. I mean, we could just do this all day. This could be the longest show in the world. Except you have to go to the vet at some point.
With the dog. I have to
Again.
take the dog to the vet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not for your weekly shot.
People ask how I get stuff done.
Although, suspect the tranquilizers they have might be a bit more effective than the human ones if ever we did need to calm this one down. Probably would need the horse variety or something.
Now you see what I have to put up with off air.
You need someone to take you in hand. Everyone else is just very polite and very sweet with you, and I'm like, Tash!
I feel it is appropriate that we went to school in Stratford upon Avon, home of Shakespeare, because I feel that you are my Hermia to my Helena.
I'll take that.
She is small, but she is mighty. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Gemma.
Oh. I'll take that.